Read it out a little long, start with the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for coming. Good to see the successes here. Any additions to the agenda? Hearing none. To approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Okay, submit your vote.
It's on board.
Oh, there. Motion carried 7-0.
And we'll make one quick notice, we do have from your approval right now, we do have our high school principal of Burlington High School, Lee Baldwin, who is joining us tonight, so we're glad Lee is on board with us. Lee, look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much, Board.
Thanks for being
Pleasure.
here.
Thank you.
Approval of the regular meeting minutes.
Student recognition.
Student recognition. Jeez. Kid win presentation.
Mr. Bruning, you don't even look the same.
That's what I just said, I didn't recognize it.
That is not him.
It is here.
Totally changed his hair.
So, I wasn't sure if I was going to use this joke or not, but I am. So every time I go for a principal change, I have to go for a major hairstyle change. When I moved here, I interviewed, long hair, full beard, and then I came here, I just cut it off, and then when she came, I decided I'm going to grow it back out again, and no, yeah. So, that's fine. It works.
Look forward to him growing it out.
It looks better, Paul.
I've heard both ways, so you know what? I appreciate it no matter what. I never did the man bun much. I like to have it down. I missed it right away when I went outside. My ears are burning off. Beautiful, thank you. All right, so this is our presentation about Kidwin. Kidwin and the Burlington Wind Company, which is kind of what we call our team. So I'm going to introduce to you what Kidwin is, how it's affected our kids, what our kids do, how the program has grown, and then also let this group talk about their experiences. Some of them have been with me for 2 years, others this is their first year, but again, we've had a great experience. All right, so what is KidWind? KidWind is an engineering competition encompassing, well, the competitions themselves encompass these 4 elements. This performance testing, which they put their turbine inside of that 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot wind tunnel. They turn the fans on, it's running about 3.5 meters per second, and then they collect as much energy as possible in 30 seconds and pray that their turbine stays together. Number 2 is instant challenges. This varies every year. They've done things with wiring, electronics, gear ratios. They had to do a offshore wind challenge. Anything else? Data, where they just look at crunch numbers. Judges panel in a presentation where they explain to judges, their project, the ups, the downs, all the in-betweens, and everything they've learned and how they've grown. And then a knowledge quiz, which varies. There is really one rule, is that all their turbines fit in a 4x4x4 cube, and most teams use a 2-watt KidWin generator. we have outgrown that. So how we started out, right? So the Kansas Energy Program sent us home a basic kit. This was used by 3 students that were in the gifted program with Jan Martin. She was here a couple years ago. We outgrew this KidWin kit, which you can see down here. It was not able to be geared very high. It could only be geared 1 to 8. So 1 turn of the blades turns the motor 8 times, and we had more torque than we had a place to put it. So we went ahead and we used the Lego gears. The Technic Lego gears were a great learning step for us, myself included, on how to put drivetrains together and get them to run as efficiently as possible given the amount of energy coming in. And we still use these same gears today. We just now design our own using CAD software and 3D print them. But we did year 1. You can see this is one of our alumni, actually 2 of our alumni. Isaac Rinker is going on to K-State for mechanical engineering, and Logan Curtin. This was them at Boulder our first year, and their whole generator was made of Legos, which was great. It was very customizable. It also exploded a couple times. So what we've accomplished, our first year was 2023. We had 1 team, 3 students. We placed first at regionals, which was at Wolf Creek, the training facility. We placed 3rd at state. We were invited to KidWin Worlds. That was in Boulder, Colorado. Last year was our 2nd year, and that's when BHS introduced our engineering pathway, sponsored, aided by Mrs. Grover. That's one of our CTE programs here at BHS. And it grew to 4 teams, 14 students. At our regional event, we had 2 teams place. Again, at state, we had 2 teams place, and then I ended up having 3 teams go with us to KidWin Worlds, and this was in Minneapolis, and we actually also brought a solar team. That's how Gavin kind of got obsessed with the generator side of it. They'll talk about that a little bit. And then this year we had 3 teams, more students. We get placed in regionals, placed in state, and then went on and attended KidWin Worlds this year in Phoenix, Arizona. So what the students learn, right? They learn teamwork. We don't always agree. Even at the highest level at Worlds, we had our blood levels raised and disagreed. But you got to figure out a way to move forward, right? They do a lot of networking. They're meeting kids from all over the state at first, and then literally all over the world. They have got to work elbow to elbow with kids from Taiwan, Mexico. I think it's it, right? And the rest of the United States. And what? India? Maybe a team from India? All right, and they learn how to fail, persevere, and succeed. They learn CAD design and 3D printing, mechanical, and all the concepts from these 4 different areas in engineering: mechanical, electrical, aerospace, and computer engineering. And they have designed components to run their turbines autonomously, to turn with the wind, measuring RPMs, find out the efficient, the right spots on how quickly to spin their turbine. And then this year, we also added electrical engineering and aerospace engineering, where we made our own airfoils, 3D printed our own airfoils, something that Matthew did, and also Cass and Payer, who they would be with us here tonight. And then electrical engineering, that was Gavin and Logan Ferrara. They built their own generator, which he is carrying there. It's still his love-hate child. All right, so why KidWin benefits our students, right? A lot of our alumni are moving on into still studying engineering. We have some who are in the field. Cass and Payer is a future lineman. He's a lineman apprentice. And then we have another, Ethan Bartley is still working at, is he still working at EMP? He is, when he left college, high school, he went on to working at EMP Shield. You know, these skills that they learned here have encouraged them and made them want to pursue fields related to that. We've had some students who competed on their first team ever. Okay, not everyone's an athlete, and this is where those non-athletes shine. They learn how to work with people, and that's a skill that we know we have to do for the rest of our lives. And then the Worlds has been an opportunity for some kids to get out of state the first time, be away from their parents. They had some that had their first flying, going through security. So these great, real life world experiences. Initially, our plan was to bring our turbines to show you them, but we played so hard with them at Worlds that we tore them all apart. So I do have a couple of videos. This is the Shark Tunnel, and it runs at 10 meters per second, which is about 30 miles per hour. What do the kids say? It cooks. So this is Gavin and Tate casting Logan's turbine in the Shark Tunnel. And at this point, it's going 2,000 RPMs. And if you don't know, that's as quickly as some of those turbine-propelled airplanes, those props fly. Okay, this thing spun fast. And I had a guess on how it was going to fail, and maybe you can hear it here. Okay, so it stood up, but, and Gavin can show them in the back, there's a rotor in the back here. So the turbine is spinning 2,000 RPMs, and it had it geared, so it's 1 to 17. So one turn of the turbine blades is spinning the rotor 17 times. So it's going about 34,000 RPMs. And the centripetal force required to hold those magnets in place was not enough. So something else to grow into next year. Matthew's group fared much better in the Shark Tunnel. Theirs held up, and the competition on this year wasn't just holding up to the turbine, to the wind tunnel. They had to pump water, and they had one of the highest scores. You can't really see that here. The water's on the other side. So this is, did he just turn it all the way up? You remember?
No.
He didn't? Okay. But in any case, their turbines really performed pretty well by the end of the week. We really ran out of time. That's what happened to us. All right, so I was going to give these kids a chance to talk about some of the work they've done or their world's experience. And we even have an alumni here, Brendan Devening. Every year they send coaches the opportunity for really an internship through the KidWin program. And Brendan took advantage of that throughout this past year. And I have a couple of students who are also interested in that. So we're kind of turning into a pipeline for the KidWin fellows. All right, so Gavin? Yeah, you're first.
Yeah, so this club, I would say, is probably what has changed my life the most throughout high school. Look at them. Yeah, this is what really got me into engineering and got me into wanting to go into college, and it's what I look forward to every day. And I'll probably end up following in Brendan's footsteps and becoming a KidWin fellow.
I can't tell you how many times the bell would ring and Gavin would go, ah, already?
All right, well, currently, this is what got me into aerospace engineering, and it's the reason I'm going to Wichita, specifically. Right now, I have a job lined up at Wichita working for the NIAR Institute, which is their aerospace division, making models, digital twins of aircraft there. And this is really what got me the experience in AutoCAD to be able to line up such a job opportunity so early in my college and aerospace career. And it's something that I'm really happy I got to do. It taught me how to learn, it taught me how to fail, and it's something I don't think I'd be here the same without.
Yeah, so when I was a senior back in 2024, I think.
So long ago.
I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, but like once we started this, I think in February or something like that, I really decided that I knew what I wanted to do. Yeah, I still went to Emporia State with the wrong major. Yeah, I went for computer science. Don't do that. But yeah, this club, it wasn't necessarily a club when I did it, but it really opened my eyes to what I could be doing with my life and how much better my life would be. And like, of course, through this club, I got the internship. One of 8 people in the country to get it. I was very happy about it. Let me tell you, it was amazing to get to boss these idiots around the whole time. That's by far the best part.
You got to yell at me too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not supposed to touch, and I have a really hard time not touching the turbines, and he was there often. I'm like, I'm not making modifications to the turbine, I'm just pointing.
But then, yeah, of course, through that, I had all this, I met so many awesome people there, I got so many connections, I shook too many hands to count, I stopped counting at 150, and yes, I did count, for a little bit. But also through this, at the beginning of next year, I'm transferring to K-State, and I'm working for the Kansas Energy Program, the same people who set all of these guys up for this type of thing.
Very cool.
All right, I know one who will be here next year to do it again.
my sophomore year, when I got first introduced to this by some of the students and Mr. Bruning, I was like, wow, this is what I've always wanted to do. This is something a field I have wanted to go in since I was as young as I can remember. And this really gave me an opportunity to get better and be prepared for what is to come. It's been difficult and there's been ups and downs. We've had lots of connections. I've met so many people I probably would never have met if it wasn't for KidWin. I've had opportunities to meet with college representatives, people from all over the globe that do things I want to do. And I'm hoping to go and be a mechanical engineer through K-State when I graduate. And it's something I have looked forward to since as long as I can remember. What all my work has gone into day in and day out.
So and Worlds was a great experience. You know, it was in Phoenix. I myself never been to the Southwest, and know a lot of them hadn't been either. I know Gavin was able to see some friends. Yeah, you just were there with spring break. You too. I was able to meet up with a friend who he lived there for a while. Oh, okay. Hadn't seen him in a while, and we hiked a mountain. We got in the airplane for the first time. We played in the pool. I threw one of the students into the pool. I tricked them. They were trying to throw him into the pool. And I said, "All right, stop, guys. You're gonna drop his head on the floor." And I picked him up, clothes and all, and went in. I had laughs and giggles and all the things that we can never forget. I would hope. So thank you guys for making it what it is. Yes, and we also want to make sure we thank Ms. Grover for putting up with everything and signing all of our positions, and also as they come up through the central office, Mr. Wilson helping organize all the transportation. USD 244, of course, for supporting us. Spent a little bit of money on it. We've got 3D printers, and if you had seen what we had last year compared to what this is, even what people still bring to Worlds, it's pretty stark. And then also our many sponsors. We would not have made it to Worlds if we did not have community members helping us along the way. And so these kids, they went out and they advocated, and we wrote it up. So, and thank you for their time.
Great job.
We're gonna get a picture of you guys out.
Oh, you
inside.
We'll find out in a minute.
Hey! Good job, guys. Good job. Good job.
Hey, is this one of your pops, guys?
Yeah.
We have the forensic state placers.
Okay, great. I did not make a PowerPoint. That's okay. So this is like less than half of our team. So this year we were able to take 16 entries to the state forensics tournament. And that 16 is the maximum entry you can take. So we've taken 16 entries for the past 2 years, and we're really proud of that. And that makes us more competitive overall as a team. Unfortunately, not everyone can be here this evening. But we do have Corinne Wolin, who placed second in original oration, and Zaylee Allen, who placed fifth in dramatic interpretation. Both of these were memorized events where the students were performing on their own. Like Corinne's speech she wrote on her own, and Zaylee was performing a script that we had worked on throughout this season. And then beyond these two young ladies, Mallory Over placed sixth in humorous interpretation, second in poetry, and second in dramatic interpretation. Chloe Gosney placed fifth in poetry, and Jewel Roth placed second in poi. So those were our state finalists. We also had a handful of semifinalists as well. And then one other thing to point out that would not be possible without the support of you all is Sage Bell's trip to both the Tournament of Champions and NSDA Nationals. So the last week of school, Sage was able to go compete at individual events Tournament of Champions, which was exciting. That was the first time we have sent a student to that tournament. She was our first student to ever qualify. And then we will be making our second trip to NSDA Nationals next week.
Sage, can I take a picture?
Oh, great.
I'll show you. I'll show you.
Congratulations.
I know.
Okay, now we have the state softball team.
I'll hand out the certificates.
Where's the PowerPoint?
It
was Zaylee's job. That was Zaylee's job.
No, we actually wrapped up our season last night, had a good team banquet. We were able to finish third in the state this year, made our season last just to the very last day that it possibly could. And that's all credit to, not all the girls are here, but most of the girls are here. That's credit to them. Special group of girls led by a great group of seniors. We really started out as a team and ended as family. And I can't express the hard work, dedication, doing the little things day in, day out to make our season as successful as it was. Some words that come to mind for me on this season: record-breaking. We set the program record for wins. It was 21. We finished with 27. We had multiple girls break individual records as well. The RBI record was broke, doubles. Carly, single season home runs. And then Grace set the single season strikeout record, ERA record for pitching, as well as 25 wins on the mound for us this year. But we can't leave here tonight without talking about the most important part of our season, which I think everybody knows about, and that's Gilbert, our goldfish. Our goldfish.
I didn't. He had to travel yesterday. No, I didn't. He had to travel yesterday, guys.
So just
He can't die yet. Like, he can't die yet.
I'm thrilled you kept him alive.
I can't believe it. Exactly. Who knew what 49 cents would do for a bunch of girls? I'm just saying. 49 cents.
So just a quick story about how Gilbert came to be. Does anybody know what the happiest animal on the earth is? It's the goldfish. That's right. Does anybody know why that is? It's got 10-second memory. 10-second memory. So that really was a good thought, that we had early on in the season. But it's all about that next play mentality where, when adversity strikes, when we miss a grounder, miss a pop fly, strike out, we always said, be a goldfish. Be a goldfish. And that seemed to resonate with the girls, and we just got better and better as the season going along. Now, when adversity did strike, we were able to nip it in the bud and move on to the next play, and I think that was the main key for our success this year. So a lot of great memories, one for the record books for sure. I'd just like to thank everybody, school board, administration, Mr. Wilson, Mrs. Grover, thank you for your leadership and support throughout the year. But I think Burlington as a community really came together, especially this spring. From my perspective, we were texting coaches back and forth, telling them good luck at state, good luck at regionals. You know, we wanted everybody to be super successful, and I think we were able to support each other as a group, and that ultimately led to how much success we were able to have, not just on the softball field, but track, forensics, every other spring program that we had. So I don't know, it's probably one of the greatest spring seasons in Burlington history, in my opinion. But thank you guys. Thank you very
Days, placers for track.
Maybe she didn't.
That's what I was missing. It's a different
Lost
building.
yelling right now, not the first time. Wow. And he had their whole, nice things. I don't know, but they don't need to. He has upgraded a
No? Well, we had a season for the record books as well. It ended, I mean, better than I could have ever imagined. We took 13 qualifiers to state, 4 relays, multiple individuals, so many state champions. We placed in every way possible, I mean, besides 2 relays, but they still did absolutely phenomenal. We broke state records, we broke school records. I mean, records that people didn't think were gonna get touched, that were crushed, and then crushed again. Keely placed in the hurdles. She broke school record, she broke the state meet record that she had been going after since her freshman year. So it was phenomenal to watch her do that. Then she was on the podium again, getting 3rd place for the 200. And then again for the 4x1, coming back and defending her title as a state champion. Haley was on the podium multiple times. 1st place for the 4x1, defending her title, and then placing 1st on the 4x4, which nobody saw coming, which was a race for the record books, and if you have not watched it, you should watch it. It was amazing. I have watched it more times than I can count at this point, on repeat. Those girls just, they took everybody by surprise. They went out, and every one of these athletes, they went out, they did their job, they did more than their job, and couldn't be more proud of them. Haley also placed 8th in pole vault, which she had been chasing since her freshman year. Got her there, and she ended up on the podium. So 4x1 placed 1st, 4x4 placed 1st. Brody Anderson took 1st in the 100, 1st in the 200. Lyra Codney took 1st, or not 1st, but 8th in 400. Yeah, 4. Or she took 8th in the 400. Like I'm forgetting somebody. Mac Medlock and Lyra Codney and Liv Lyons and Julie Potter for the 4x4. Our 4x1 was Haley and Keely, along with Alexa Ratzlaff and Olivia Lyons. And I mean, it was just amazing. I don't know what else to say. I'm not great at the public speaking thing. These girls, they went out, they killed it. They did their job, and I mean, it's something I am never going to forget as a coach, and I hope these athletes never forget this as well. And it's going to be fun to watch them continue in high school or in college.
Great job.
Almost like maybe Derek Burton taught She was down on us. I was like, dude, I just said that 15 minutes ago. just have a number of written communications, thank yous from Teacher Appreciation Week. Also a thank you from a donation we made for Julie Dawson's mother.
Chance to see those. School report, Darla.
I just had a couple of things on there. Christy, can you pop that up there with me? One of them I know is about just our day school, the 4-year-old section at school. We will have to, 9 people that are late applicants at this point because,
Jordan, where you moving?
I mean, we only have 20 kids in a class and that are like at 38. And that gives us just like 2 seats a week to get some IEPs that we have to serve. So, just, we haven't been in that spot before where we've had to turn people down, but we're there. So, just, I kind of want you guys to be aware of that because that could be a situation, you know, that somebody gets upset and at the wrong time because every year, a lot of people wait until August to decide if they want to sign up for a slot. So, I feel like that has the potential to be, you know, just, FYI. The other thing is the middle license literacy grant, that we've had for, 9 years.
9 years.
Like there's some changes going on there. So the funding is secure for next year, but that will end the 10-year cycle. And the director that's been over that program, Casey Markowitz, when the AmeriCorps funding got cut by the federal government, that position got cut. And so the Board of State's kind of absorbing that position. So it's restructuring, and then she came to do like an exit interview about the program. She just said she's not sure that money, that grant will be available after this 10-year. The money's coming from the university a different way, like into the foundation, so it's being overseen by other people, so they may take the money a different way. So we won't know. So if that happens, just, you know, we do have parents as teachers through that program. I would really hate for us to have 25 slots full for as long as we have that grant. I do think there is an opportunity maybe to get in on the state grant for that, but that's something I'll have to do some research on. So just, you know, there could be some changes in that program after next year. And then the summer programs are going well. We have 36 kids signed up for Summer Academy, and 48 kids are registered for the 21st Century program that starts next week. And everything's going well there so far. So, great opportunities for our kids.
Question for Darla. Lance Green.
I mentioned a little bit in our linkage the improvement around our students as it pertains to reading. This is a huge credit to Mrs. Bates and the work that she did, as well as the flexibility of staff. Because what would happen was she'd pull a couple kids out of the first 10 minutes of class, then they would rotate in. So she was constantly with those kids. Huge impact there. And then I put the 4th quarter honor rolls in there also. This was also put into the Republican, and this just shows the daily work that our staff does with our kids to make sure that they're meeting those expectations. The only thing that was new since I've been here, especially since COVID, sometimes getting work from students is continuing to be a challenge. And it's not kids that can't do it, it's kids that just choose not to do it. It's the won't. And I think that's a big difference between a kid that can't do it versus a kid that won't do it. And so there's a proposal in there of looking at Wednesday night school, Saturday morning school, and that is specific after we have exhausted resources and tried to get them in, we've had them stay, things like that, that they would then be required to attend that session. With that, if they get their work done by a certain period of time, they are released. Now, if they don't, they stay. Obviously, this is something that I would be at, as well as I know I've had, Mrs. Wilson has shown interest in wanting to do this as well. And so it's just, we're trying to figure out a way to get kids. We have student of the month, our teachers are constantly communicating with parents, and we still have kids that just choose not to do it, but have the ability. And so that would probably be the one piece that I would have.
So even having like a 0 in the grade part doesn't.
Some of it is we need to know that they know it. And even though we know they know it, they're choosing not to show us. And it is, this is your responsibility. Your responsibility is to be in school and turn in your work. This is with having one-on-one meetings with parents. I mean, we had an 8th grader not participate in our promotion because failing multiple classes, and it wasn't because they couldn't do it, it's because they chose not to. And so it's, how do we get those kids to complete the work so that we can really show that they know it?
It's more like the science, right?
It is a little bit, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've had them in ISS, I've had them sitting at my table for 8 hours and work with them one-on-one, and I mean, it's just, we've exhausted pretty much everything that we can think of. This is something that our BLT team came up with as well.
Why do you think this will work when the other things didn't?
There's a little bit more teeth behind it, because if you're not showing up and it's not being completed, it's for sure a 0. If you don't show up and you're not there, now it's gonna be an out-of-school suspension, which then goes to the point system. There's a little bit more teeth behind it.
You don't want to go to school on Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that, but I'm gonna guess the type of student who's just refusing to turn in homework just won't show up on Saturday either.
That's what I'm wondering.
And I'm curious, we'll have to make, if something like this we go through, we'd have to be very clear about their understanding. This, I mean, if you receive enough of these and you don't show up for them, is the consequence you don't move to the next grade?
Well, it can be that, or it can even be a due process hearing.
It's just something that had to be thought out.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, we've exhausted everything.
Right.
Kids come in early to to work with teachers, stay after school, working lunches, ISS for it. I mean, we've exhausted everything.
Have you had, like, the parents are pretty supportive, like, they want them to get the work done too, and they're having the same problem? I mean, that's kind of what I see.
Yep.
I mean,
That's
I
part
can
of
be
it.
wrong.
That is part of it. Sometimes with middle school students, and kids in general, when you interrupt their time, it makes a bigger impact. And their time will be Wednesday night after school, you're staying a little longer, or you're coming in Saturday.
Sounds like you're all done. Any other questions from that? High school, GPO.
Yeah, I just did the last breakdown. We had been talking through most of the fall. I kept reading how many students we had, how many transfers we had, and so this kind of breaks it down. And if you've noticed, it's not as bad as it looks, because and I think that's what Matt's getting to, is that there's alternative options for people, but there's individualized situations that these kids are transferring, or I don't want any kid to drop out that are getting their GED, and so you can kind of see the breakdown of that. So we're not losing to online school because they don't like VHS or we don't have anything to offer. There's individualized reasons there, but the focus, and I should put this in the challenge, is that bottom is the 5 drop and the 1 with no plan. So you have 6 kids that dropped, and all they have to tell us is that they're going to pursue their GED, and that's what we mark it at. And if they complete it, then we'll get that information. And one kid said, I'm not, So take it for what it is for out of those 6. That, to my knowledge, not any of them have completed a GED at this time. Keeping them out of the justice system. So just future looking forward to new people. looking forward is, what does that look like? There's 6 kids in our population. That's a lot of kids. And we do, and we offer a lot. We offer the pathways. We offer those opportunities here. But what else? What are we missing?
And I had asked Jody for this information, because when I went to graduation, I was like, there's a lot of faces I'm not seeing here today. And so I asked her for this information of, like, where did these kids go? Like, where did they, and this shocked me, and it kind of upset me also, like, what can we do to,
Because
keep these, we're
offer a lot, and again, we can only do so much, but what are we missing? Okay, so I wanted to make sure you had that. And then I put some Fast Bridge stuff in there, and then the MHIT stuff, the mental health information's in there as well, that we kind of went through earlier. And then all of our stuff, we've talked about it a gazillion times. It has been an honor to watch the success of these kids, and not being for the fourth year to watch this freshman and through this for years, but these sophomores going in, and you see little Hannah Sides and little Grace Burr, and just the young women and the young men in the baseball, and they won with class and lost with integrity, and that's what's changed in 3 years. And so, supporting those amazing people that are out there every day, it was just fun to watch. Heartbreaking at times, but man, if you have not watched that 4x4 race, you need to watch that, because we're the underdogs, and anything can happen. Those kids are amazing. And who would have known that Burlington High School takes a fish to every softball game. In the end, you gotta remember they're kids. They're still kids. But.
Do you have anything else? Jody?
Can I go back to Matt for a second? So, in the reading of the children's stuff, next in programming is good, right?
Yes, so they met a benchmark and they moved on.
Okay.
And we moved them out, and then we moved others in to take their place.
Just make sure I'm doing the right thing.
Superintendent's report.
Yes, the list of district accomplishments, you've heard these, so I'm not gonna go over those. This is an article that'll go in the paper hopefully this next week in the Coffee County Republican, and we thank them for their coverage of everything Burlington. So again, very, very appreciative of the Coffee County Republican. Board presentation for some information on some summer projects. These are just a few. We don't have a ton of summer projects going on. Since we've had 3 different transportation and grounds directors over about the last 13 months, we've been working trying to get the fence project between Links Lane and the baseball softball complex. It just hasn't made it to get to completion and get it taken care of. But that will be done over the next, I'm hoping 2, 3, 4 weeks. Anyway, it'll be much, much better with cantilever gates. Cantilever gates are rolling gates that roll alongside the fence. It'll look a lot better there, and get rid of the old fence that's kind of falling apart. The construction project with the BOAG shop addition renovation is just going crazy. I mean, you look at these pictures, and I think they were done like last week, and then you go out there and look at it now, and it looks a lot different. It's just incredible. They're breaking through the wall here, to get to that addition connection to the current BOAG shop renovation. So we're very excited to see that happening, and we'll try to do a tour sometime soon for that. We have new floors in the middle school locker rooms. The old floors, you can see pictures of how it looked, the prep work on the left, and then the way the floor was kind of a peachish, brownish, faded, it was not good. And then the new picture of the new floors, it just looks so much better in there. And we're remote for our kids daily for PE classes and their activities, but then throw in all the different activities that we have, the hosting of different tournaments. It's just that much better, obviously, for our visitors who come in here to Burlington. And did not have a picture of this, but if you want to peek in the gym afterwards, you can. They are installing the new scoreboards and very large video board in there. It looks tremendous. So again, that just started today. So we can peek in there if you'd like to afterwards. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Barry? Board member item, board reports. Anybody have anything? Moving on, budget planning.
This is stuff that you have seen before. It looks very familiar. I'm not going to go through everything. Just a few different items. The base aid for student excellence does increase from $53.78 next year to $5,615. So that's a nice increase. Some other information, like I say, that I just want to kind of talk about the highlights or lowlights in this case. Property and liability insurance. information we just got today from Kimberly at Trust Point, we could potentially see up to 25 to 30% increase in property liability as well as workman comp. So we're hoping that will not be the case. This is a year for a 3-year renewal, our 3-year renewal on this insurance. So we may have some competitive bidding going on for this insurance. Good news is health insurance rates. We were waiting for this information in early June. We just did receive this information. We had a negative 1.4%. It's a decrease in our health insurance. Our consortium, our Kansas Education Insurance Trust, or KITE for short, acronym, had a really good year, and USD 244 had a good year with health insurance. So we had a negative or a decrease of 1.4%. It's not a ton, it's not, but it's better than an increase of 10, 12, 15%. So that is a good thing. That was competitively bid through our KITE process, through our KITE leadership, 27, 28 different schools in that consortium. So that did help that competitive bidding process. So hopefully that may help us with our property and liability insurance too as we did this. Summary again, 3 distinct recommendations for the board while you guys, again, for you to consider. Again, we will start, we're actually budget preparations going on now, and we will not have a full formal budget adopted until August or September. We go through the revenue neutral rate process and so on and so forth. And again, there's some recommendations below here. Superintendent, again, is in charge of the development and administration of the budget within the budget limits established by the board. And will the board continue to support that governance philosophy? Will the board support a local option budget of up to 33% or the state average in 25-26? And will the board support a continuance of a minimum of the 4 mil levy in the capital outlay fund for the purposes of maintaining the physical plant and instructional equipment in the district? Granted, we do have 5 for the 1 year for 3 years for that BOAG shop addition renovation, but the 4 mil levy for the capital outlay fund purposes for maintaining and improving the plant, again, that's the focus. Questions from the board?
I see really nothing here that we haven't talked about year over year. One thing that'll need, I think, discussed either now or the future is the 4 mil levies for capital outlay fund, because we do have an elementary school that needs things addressed now. And I don't think we can do it with the constraints of our budget at just 4 mils for capital outlay. So that may need to be increased, whether that's now, direct future, or we get more information back about what our future holds in that area. We need to do something. So we weren't, when I told people what stuff needed to happen, I wasn't lying, and it's gonna cost money, so.
I think we'll have to have a work session to talk about some of that.
Would you like us to put a survey out to people to find out maybe why they didn't vote for the bond issue or not? Okay.
No.
No? Okay.
Had it been close, maybe I'd feel that way, but
Okay.
personally, I don't need to know why 500 additional people said no.
Okay. We'll look to set up a work session maybe in the month of July.
I don't want to sound negative, but I've heard enough opinions.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I mean, we do represent the public, so we will need to know what the public wants us to do going forward, so.
I understand that.
Yeah, but, yeah, I think that a work session in July to kind of get our footing and kind of get a direction of where we think.
I mean, and just so we can be clear about it, we're 4 mils and 5 for, well, next year and the year after.
Correct.
Without really going to public vote, we can go at 8 to address things at the elementary school, and that's an increase of 4, right? So we need to either programmatically go about addressing things at the elementary or figure out what we're gonna do.
Thank you, everyone.
There's a few other options,
Discuss
yeah.
our work session on the side.
And one thing that was on my, whatever we turned it earlier, linkage notes, that I didn't have about, is that if, I mean, I know that you guys are gonna do work session and you're still gonna be talking about support the project, but I think if we could have their buy-in, like, this is what I'm gonna get, and this is why it's really important to have the people really selling, you know, like, whatever, like, maybe what they're wanting, it might help. Because, you know, I think the teachers wanted the new project, and I think that there's a lot of teachers disappointed, but, like, I think that we would have even more buy-in if they could really know, like, okay, here's what it means, what it looks like for us.
If you don't know what next level education
Like when the,
is, it
one
looks
team
like.
got to visit that one school, they came back like charged, like that's what we need is to take our people that are gonna be the workers there and like charge them up, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's something that we could do on professional development day, but, I think that would be a smart thing for us to like get ahead of the next, whatever the next thing is, cause even if it's renovate at our school, like what, you know, what do we wanna make different besides just new cabinets, that way the teachers can say to the people, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? So
Working
I think that would be
faculty
a,
So they can
smart-
see what really helped to
I think that would be
their
another, a
day-to-day
smart step.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now remember, just a quick little bit of information, reminder that to go to that permanent mill levy, for capital outlay to 8 mills, you would actually have to put that out in public notice. And then there'd be a 40-day protest. 10% of the voting population signs a protest that they don't want that 4 mil increase for continuous and in perpetuity. Then it fails. You then can take it to a vote if you want to. That's up to you.
Only 30% showed up for one vote. So
Yes.
it's 10%. That would be tougher.
Right. So anyway, just a reminder of how that works.
Yeah.
So, but good thoughts. We'll work on trying to get a scheduled July work session.
Okay.
Thank you.
Contract approval of Recreation Commission Board, I believe we had, the, rec center provided us with a name.
Yes.
So,
Make a motion to appoint Brittany Hawkins to Recreation Commission position 1 board member.
Second.
motion is second, discussion. No discussion, Steve, vote. Motion carries 6-0. Congratulations. 1953 Chevy truck bid.
Okay, this was a truck that was purchased way back when, we've owned this truck for a long time, not since 1953, but we've owned it for a while. Doug Stewart, if I remember, it's like 2005, 2006, don't quote me on that. Yeah, anyway, that we've owned that truck for quite some time, it's never gotten taken to completion, it's in pieces and parts. But most all of the pieces and parts are there, and we put it out for bid with a minimum bid. Talking with Doug Stewart, I just asked him, okay, what do you think? Is it worth $5,000? He told me that's what he thought. Minimum bid of $5,000. We got no bids on that whatsoever. So it's kind of like if you own a truck and you think it's worth $15,000, you guys still get somebody to pay $15,000. It's only worth what somebody's willing to pay. Having said that, we put it back up again for sealed bids, and we received one sealed bid. And that's for $1,655. We can hold on to it, try it again later. We can accept this bid. It's up to you guys. It's been
Just
said.
been in the road.
Yeah, cash and carry, right?
Yes,
So,
cash and carry.
hopefully that is no longer.
Cause I think he'll for sure do something with it, Mike will.
Good on him for putting it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
He'll give it to his son-in-law.
Congratulations.
Just gonna say congratulations.
I'll move to accept the bid from Mike McGee for the 1953 Chevy truck in the amount of $1,655.
Second.
James.
Motion second, discussion. Switch your vote. Motion carries 6-0. Personnel, executive sessions, personnel.
have a question on this. So, with the, I guess the track, are we not considering the 7-12 program?
That is something that Mr. Wilson wants to hold off on, and with the new high school administration coming in, they want to hold off on that until next year, evaluate that, and then make a decision. They don't want to do any changes right now. They feel like that would be in the best interest with new people coming into administration, giving them a year to evaluate and then move forward.
Motion to approve BMS supplemental position as presented for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Ready to vote? Motion carries 5-1. VHS supplemental positions. Move to approve the VHS supplemental positions as presented for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
Motion seconded, discussion. Ready to vote? Motion carries 6-0. Executive session regarding negotiations.
I shared with you some information there. I don't know if we need to go into executive session or not.
I have questions, like 10 minutes is all. Yeah. Okay, motion to recess in executive session for 10 minutes to discuss certified contracts pursuant to the exception of the employer-employee negotiation in Macella. And return to open session in this room at the end of that time, including Craig Marshall. Is Lindsay here? No, Craig Marshall is. That's all right, it's just.
Okay. For a second.
I'm gonna lock.
Motion second, any discussion? Ready to vote?
Are they still working this one more? Okay. And so.
Lock them in.
Okay, that's good.
saw Jody. He was calling her.
Just Jody and Raymond talking.
Okay.
Everybody else is gone.
What portion of the meeting was especially meaningful to the board?
What'd you say?
I appreciate all the students coming in, hearing all their successes, the kid win, and all the athletics. That was good.
The kid win stuff.
The kid win was really
awesome.
awesome. Trying to change their plan on how they want to be engineering and all that stuff.
I do want to ask the question, the very first thing we voted on, I believe, was the consent agenda. I believe that when you called up the vote, James, you said 7-0. Was Johnny on the phone at that point?
No, I'm
So it
sorry,
needs to
and I
be
thank you
6-0?
for correcting that, because he was
Okay.
just on.
I just assumed he was on the
linkage.
phone, but then I started noticing pop up as absent after that.
Thank you.
So I thought maybe we lost him. Okay.
Thank you.
What course could benefit from change or modification in the future to allow the board to retain its focus on the board results?
Well, from the previous meeting, I think going an hour and a half is a good idea.
Yeah,
I think started
definitely
earlier.
an hour and a
Just
half.
for that meeting or
Just for
all of
that
them?
one, I just think just for that, a linkage,
That's
we
usually
always
the one
run out of
that's always-
time. I think we have enough time with the teacher linkage, I always feel like we have enough time with that one.
Yeah. Administrators have a lot more to
The
say.
administrators have a lot of stuff.
Especially this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of successes and then a lot of upcoming challenges, and we just need more time.
So we'll make note and do that next year for sure.
Yeah.
We can pull the extra half hour out of the student one, because they just kind of stare at us awkwardly. So.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's
That's it.
tough.
Means adjourned.